Good evening, I'm Ryan Bonazzo. Thank you for joining us. Today is World Suicide Prevention Day, and here in the Thunder Bay area, help is needed now more than ever. With mental health struggles becoming a growing concern during the COVID-19 pandemic, the city came together at a pair of events today to bring awareness to those lost and to those in need of help. Danielle Bain reports.
According to recent stats, 1 in 6 high school students say they suffer from suicidal thoughts. Program Manager for Children's Center Thunder Bay, Angela Hill, was one of many who gathered at Waverly Park to raise awareness on World Suicide Prevention Day. She noted just how important it is to normalize talking about suicides.
We're always worried about mental health, and especially the mental health of our youth, but COVID made it worse. When they did a survey of students last year, they said the majority of students said my mental health has deteriorated during COVID.
Both Dalico and Anishinaabeg Family Care and the Catholic District School Board partnered with the Children's Center to launch a new version of the Be Safe app. The app offers local resources for struggling youth and can direct them to the exact help they need based on certain questions.
Are they feeling suicidal right now? Have they been using drugs or alcohol? Do they have any intention of hurting themselves? And based on those yes or no questions, it'll direct them to different resources locally.
Matthew says the Be Safe app isn't just for youth with smartphones. The new version of the app that they're launching provides a way for young kids or kids without smartphones to still be able to access these resources.
The whole purpose of the app is that it can be used on its own, but can also be used with a supportive adult. So parents, other community supports could easily use it with students.
Across town, the Anishinaabe Nation hosted the first annual Choose Life Awareness Walk to honor those who were taken too soon and to create dialogue that will help people choose life. Deputy Grand Chief Bobby Narcisse had a strong message for those struggling with their mental health.
There is supports, and to let those individuals know that they are not alone. That we'll work together and fight the good fight to ensure that there are supports available for those individuals who are going through a tough time, especially during COVID.
One of his other main goals is to highlight how NAN and others in the community are working to make proper resources fully available to everyone.
We want to let everybody know in the community that we are taking a stand against this and to ensure that those gaps within these services are also met, especially within the Anishinaabe Nation.
Danielle Bain, TBT News.
The Ontario Provincial Police issued a warning to the public today about the recent increase in drug overdoses here in the Northwest. Concerns have been raised about a possible batch of fatal street drugs circulating in the area. So far this year, there have been 10 fatal overdoses in the OPP's coverage area, as well as 73 non-fatal overdoses where emergency responders or the public administered naloxone. OPP are warning anyone selling opioids that if someone dies, the seller can face charges of manslaughter or criminal negligence causing death. Concerns over capacity at Thunder Bay arenas have local parents and hockey organizers up in arms. Mayor Bill Morrow and councillors are now looking into the issue. Minor hockey players will return to the ice over the next few weeks, but the city-run arenas won't allow enough spectators to accommodate even one parent per child on the ice. Capacity limits range from 15 to 43 at the 5 city arenas. Community Services Manager Kelly Robertson says she calculated the limits by adding the total square meters of each arena's bleachers and dividing to account for physical distancing. Since then, city staff and council have been inundated with upset parents. Morrow says the concerns have been heard.
We want to be ensuring as best we're able that we're interpreting the regulations or the lack thereof in an appropriate way. So it should be easy to figure out relatively because many other municipalities obviously are wrestling with the same challenges that we are here in Thunder Bay. So we just want to make sure before we've publicly articulated a position.
Morrow acknowledges that as the municipal rinks are already open, a decision is required quickly. The Thunder Bay District Health Unit is reporting 2 new COVID-19 cases today. Both are in First Nation communities and are related to travel outside of northwestern Ontario. There's also been another hospitalization. There are now 2 people from this district in hospital, one of whom is in the ICU. There are now 14 active cases in the health unit's catchment area. Over in the Northwestern Health Unit, there are 4 new infections. 3 come from the Rainy River region. The other is in the Sioux Lookout area. There are now 10 active cases across the NWHU. Ontario, meanwhile, is reporting 848 new infections today. 659 of those are in people who aren't fully vaccinated or have an unknown vaccination status. After officials with the province's largest school board announced that it will be pausing all extracurricular activities, Ontario's education minister has weighed in on the matter. Colin DeMello has the details.
For students in the province's largest school board, it is yet another year of disruption. Extracurricular activities and field trips have been cancelled at the Toronto Public and Catholic school boards on the recommendation of the local medical officer of health.
It's very disheartening again that we're watching this repetitious behavior over and over, and there's no justification because extracurriculars have been open all summer with kids indoors and out at camps.
As the Delta variant slowly pushes up transmission, the concern now is other school boards in Ontario. While the 2 Toronto school boards are the only ones to preemptively cancel extracurricular activities, the decision, some say, could set a trend.
I'm afraid that what's going to happen is that public health units are, in fact, going to be making similar directives all across this province. And it's our kids that are paying the price for this.
And parents are now looking to provincial officials, hoping they can reverse the decision.
I want our medical officer of health to step up here as well and say, I have given you all this advice. I've worked with our science advisory table on all of this information that we prepared for you in June, and you ignored it. Why is it being ignored?
The Minister of Education, however, has indicated that the province is powerless in the matter.
My expectation is these experiences are going to be restored as soon as humanly possible.
But the minister says he wants the cancellation to be reversed.
They need to come forth with a plan to get them back on track, because I think many children are looking forward to not just learning, but also the full complement of the school experience, which also happens outside the classroom.
Critics say part of this rests on the Ford government's shoulders to ensure other school boards don't follow.
We have to defer to public health, right? I mean, they're doing this for a reason because they're afraid of what's coming. We have to ask ourselves, what else could the government be doing right now to prevent this kind of action?
Fearing a domino effect as the Delta variant spreads.
Officials at St. Joseph's Care Group are celebrating a major milestone this week. After nearly 4 years of third-party management at Hogarth Riverview Manor, the province has finally lifted its mandatory management order. The order was put in place in November of 2017 after the brand new 448-bed long-term care facility struggled to meet compliance standards for resident care.
At that point in time, with our rapid expansion, we weren't able to meet some of those standards. So we had to contract with a management company called Extendicare Assist, and we worked hand in hand with them to develop all those things that needed to happen. It helped us to expedite the work.
Longtime CEO Tracy Buckler credits her team and staff for reaching the point where St. Joe's can manage the massive facility on its own. She says the pandemic definitely delayed the lifting of the MMO, but with no incidents of COVID spread during the first 3 waves and no compliance orders at this time, she's confident HRM is on the right track. And the big news came 1 day before Buckler's retirement.
Well, the mandatory management order was something that was really, really difficult. Probably the hardest thing that happened in my career of 36 years with St. Joseph's Care Group. And to have the mandatory management order, the MMO, lifted the day before I leave, so it was late yesterday that we got the news, is absolutely the best retirement gift I could imagine or ever wished for.
Well, tonight we wrap up our local coverage of the federal election campaign with the 5th candidate vying for the Thunder Bay Rainy River seat. Tracy McKinnon says the Green Party has a lot to offer in this election, and she hopes to gain as many votes as she did in her city council run. Mitchell Ringos has more.
Green Party candidate Tracy McKinnon has made Thunder Bay her home, moving here 10 years ago after living on both coasts of Canada and southern Ontario. McKinnon ran for city council in the 2018 municipal election, collecting over 3,000 votes. and she's hoping for similar support this time. McKinnon says now that she's a federal candidate, she's really getting the chance to be heard.
When I have Amanda supporting me and, of course, the Green team, however, we need, it could be the pandemic too, but I just feel like I've been kind of left out. So yesterday at the debate, with the English debate with the Thunder Bay Superior North candidates, I finally had a seat at that table, which has been long overdue.
McKinnon is an anti-poverty advocate, saying a lot of the Thunder Bay community is struggling, as she knows the struggles of poverty firsthand, battling through it herself. She feels that not enough is being done and says the Green Party is the one that has tried to make steps to change the current state of poverty in our country.
The Green Party has had a guaranteed livable income in their platform for many years. We've had the 1970, we had the Mincome at Dr. Evelyn Forget. In 2018-2019, we had the Ontario Basic Income Pilot Project. In 2020, we had the CERB. In 2021, we have the CRB. We have the data.
McKinnon is also very close to the Indigenous community, going to many of their events, including the Suicide Prevention Walk in Thunder Bay.
I don't have a law degree. I don't have a medical degree. I'm not a teacher yet, like Selma or a painter, but what I am is someone with lived experience. That's how I relate to my Indigenous brothers and sisters. I proudly wear my skirt and my mask with my friends and community members. And
Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
The Anishinaabe Business Professional Association and the Thunder Bay Chamber of Commerce hosted a pair of candidate forums this week. The session for Thunder Bay Rainy River riding saw participation from the Liberal, NDP, and Green Party candidates. The forum was supposed to include candidates from the 4 parties with elected MPs in Ottawa, but wound up only hosting 3 as Conservative candidate Adelina Pecchia did not attend, citing scheduling issues. For the 3 candidates that did take part, they answered a variety of questions from the panel, touching on business concerns and other topics. For one, the candidates were asked about the state of connectivity in the global digital future.
So connectivity is absolutely essential. In fact, people are starting to now talk about the right to connect. And certainly the government has appreciated the importance of connectivity and having good broadband, and as a result of that, we've instituted the Universal Broadband Fund. We put $8 billion into it. There's a commitment to have 100% of people committed by 2030.
Here in the Northwest, there are huge gaps, and it impacted our children when they were in school. It impacted our businesses. It impacted people's ability to stay safe, work from home, have that reliable service. We need to make it a priority, not just an afterthought of people, maybe getting broadband.
the children the last 18 months, Northwestern Ontario, in Canada, 2021, not having access to internet to be able to do their online learning. That I mentioned in my intro, but the vaccine passport, cell phone, and internet are so vitally important.
And next week, we here at TBT News will present our own televised debates featuring the candidates in the 2 local ridings. With the federal election just over a week away, advanced polling stations for the Thunder Bay Rainy River and Superior North ridings opened their doors this morning for voters looking to beat the lines ahead of Election Day on September 20th. In total, there are 13 locations around the city, open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and continuing on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. For those interested in taking advantage of the advanced polls, Thunder Bay Superior North Returning Officer Dale Mason says it's as easy as bringing in something official with your name and address on it. He says they try to make things accessible to ensure all eligible Canadians are able to vote.
So typically, if you have a voting card, that speeds things up a little bit. But if you don't have a voting card and you have ID, that's fine. Even if you're not on the list, we can accept your ID and do a registration form for you and allow you to vote right then and there. So we're trying to make it easy for every Canadian to vote.
Anyone who can't make it to the advanced polls by Monday night but still wants to cast their vote ahead of the 20th, Mason's office at the County Fair Mall has a voting station which will be open until 6 o'clock Tuesday evening. The annual Mayor's Mulligan Golf Tournament returned for its 17th year today, supporting activities for local children. Mayor Bill Morrow teed off for the event in support of Pro Kids. Throughout the day, groups of golfers took to the course in a socially distanced fashion, different than the usual shotgun start. A putting tournament also took place with local sports legends Rick Lang and Al Hackner showing that their skills go beyond the pebbled ice. After last year's event was limited to just the putting competition, Morrow says it's great for it to return in full this time around.
Lifelong friendships through these opportunities. They'll learn all sorts of life skills through sports and other activities that they have an opportunity to be engaged in. And I'm sure for their families, it's a really sort of a breath of fresh air in terms of enabling their families and their children these opportunities that they might not otherwise have.
Programs are now starting to open up, so that's great. You know, it's kind of, people are a little bit nervous about just signing up, but we are noticing that people are applying to Pro Kids, and I do have to say that some of our clients are new in that COVID has impacted their families.
More than $21,000 was raised to help local families put their kids into recreational activities.
I kind of want to go golfing now, I'm not going to lie to you. Weather-wise, Fiona, kind of a nice day to go golfing.